Okay, so for your notebooks, you don't have to have a notebook form. It could be papers in a binder. It could be on a Google documentation that you've been logging things over the time that I've been gone, but some type of formation of you taking notes, okay? Pretend that when you are viewing this presentation for the first time, because this better not have been the first time that you've seen this presentation, that you were taking notes as if I were there in front of you teaching and facilitating it, and then you were taking notes and translating these expressions. Oh, but señorita, you're not here. I don't know how to translate them. Oh, but the pictures are pretty self-explanatory for the most part, okay? So, like I said, I know the situation is not the best, but in my example earlier, when life throws lemons, we're just gonna squeeze them and make some lemonade, okay? So, but let's continue. So, tener frío, this person right here, he's having his arms on his shoulders and he looks like he's shaking, so he's what? Cold. So, tener frío means to have cold, literally, to have cold. But we would translate it if we were to use it into English as what? He's cold. She is cold. Are you cold? Well, is it cold? Okay, so any type of, I can use that expression in a question. I can use it in a statement. I can use it as a response to a question. And I can use it as a description. Okay? But what I cannot do is I cannot break apart the expression itself. So these two words have to be together. Now, what I can do is add a little tiny word in between tener and frío, and that's muy. M-U-Y, meaning very. He is very cold. I am very cold. So I can add more words in between to make more emphasis to the expression itself, but I cannot change the expression. If I want to express that he is cold or she is cold or they are cold, whomever the subject is, but expressing coldness, I have to use tener and I have to use frío. Now that I should have a little line on it, okay? It should be F-R-I with an accent mark over it. Oh, okay, I didn't make this presentation, so some of it, I don't know what's going on, but it should look, different. So, once I figure that out, we'll have it, okay? But it should be the opposite way. I don't know why my computer is doing it that way. But you get the idea, okay? So if I want to change tener, I have tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, tenéis, tienen. So I choose one of them based on the subject or who I'm talking about or who's doing the talking, and then I add frío. So I put that in my notebook somewhere. Tener frío equals to be cold. Because remember, when it's in the infinitive form, the ER makes it infinitive, I have to put the word TO in English. So tener frío equals to be cold. All right, so let's go over the opuesto to frío is calor. The opposite of cold is hot. So tener calor, this guy over here, with the sun beating on him, and something coming off of him, that's sweat. So if I'm looking at this without a teacher there, I think to myself, he's probably sweating. Okay, so tener calor equals to be hot. Let's keep going. Tener hambre. What is he thinking about? There's a Coca-Cola, there's a pie, there's an apple, and either a turkey or a chicken. I can't really tell. So what is he thinking about? He's thinking about food. Now, is it to be food? No, I can't be food. I have to be an expression, some type of physical sensation that I feel. So if I'm thinking about food, what am I feeling? Hunger. To have hunger is the literal translation. Or for us, when we speak it in English, it would be to be hungry. So I have in my notebook somewhere, tener hambre equals to be hungry. Okay, so this little squirrel is drinking Pepsi. Not a lot of Pepsi's coming out. It looks like somebody left that on the beach. But he is thirsty. So tener sed equals to be thirsty. So let's go over it for anyone who that was a little fast. The first guy, tener frío, means to be cold. The second guy, tener calor, to be hot. Tener hambre, to be hungry. And tener sed, to be thirsty. Now, the only liberation I really have for this purpose right now is I can change tener, but I cannot do anything else. I need everything else to stay the same. Okay, let's move on. Oh, Sleepy from the Seven Dwarfs. He is sleepy, to be sleepy. Tener sueño. Again, this N should be an ñ. Tener sueño. To be tired. Okay? And I've asked some of my native speakers before, so maybe my non-natives have heard this. They may or may not have, but I've asked a couple students before, ¿Tienes sueño? Are you tired? ¿Tienes sueño? So I can use the expression and make it a question. Because when I add that upside down question mark, that means do you, right? And then I change tener to the speaker, and I'm talking to one person, so I change it to the tú form of tener, which is tienes. And now I have do you have, and then I use the word for sleepy or tiredness in a sense, okay, which is sueño, and I put it there. Sueño can also mean dreams. Dulces sueños is sweet dreams. Okay, but when it's together with tener, it means to be tired. And so I can phrase that in a question. ¿Tienes sueño? Sí, yo tengo sueño. Or no, no tengo sueño. Same thing over here, okay, guys? I want you to be able to extrapolate information. What does that mean? I want you to see that this guy at the bottom thinking about food is hungry. Okay, but if I want to ask my classmate if they're hungry, because it's like an hour before lunch and I'm sitting in the seat and I'm starving, my stomach is growling, and I want to ask the classmate next to me, are you hungry too because I'm starving? The initial question is, what? ¿Tienes hambre? Because I take the upside down question mark, which is do you, okay, because a lot of English speakers want, well, how do I say do you? Oh, but I can't ask the question because I don't know how to make it sound like a question, because I don't want to say to have, I want to say do you have? Well, do you, for all intensive purposes, is an upside down question mark. ¿Tienes hambre? Okay, and I just make it a question. I can make any expression a question. I just need to conjugate tener. Okay, so we're back to sleepy. ¿Tienes sueño? Sí, yo tengo sueño. Sí, yo tengo mucho sueño. So I can add words like muy or mucho in between the two words, okay, to add emphasis to whatever I'm saying. But for now, let's not worry about that. Let's just know how to take this expression and translate it into English, how I can take the expression and ask a question, and how I can take that same expression and answer the question. So there's 3 components going on. All right, so this woman over here in blue, tener dolor de. You must have the de. It's like tener más que más infinitivo. I can't have tener and an infinitive. I need the que in between. So what goes on here is I need to have the de, because after that comes something else. That's why there's ... But the formula that I cannot change, or the expression that must be that way, is just like you see it. Tener más dolor más de. That's the expression. Whatever comes after it changes depending on the context. So what does this mean? To have pain. So when you get to the chapter where we learn body parts, you can ask, do you have pain of the head? Like, meaning, do you have a headache? Are you having pain in your back? Okay, and there's a whole song that goes with that, and we'll learn it. But now you know, tener más dolor más de, to have pain. Okay, so let's continue. Tener expressions, more. Tener prisa. Well, what does it look like? He is in a rush. So tener prisa means to be in a rush. Now I can hear in my mind somebody asking, but tener doesn't mean to be. You're right. It doesn't. So tener prisa, how can that mean to be in a rush if tener doesn't mean to be? Because it's an expression and I do not translate it literally. That's the simple, correct response, okay? That's the answer. To be is a different verb, but in the expression, tener can function as to be. In an expression, okay? If I want to translate tener prisa literally, it should be to have rush, which doesn't make sense for an English speaker, but if that works for your translations in your notebooks, then go ahead and write that. Tener prisa equals to have a rush or to be in a rush. So, we're getting more advanced next chapter where we can, explain different things to people and ask character descriptions. And so say you see your classmate running down the hall. Well, perhaps the warning bell just went off. And you can ask them, are you in a rush? And how do I say that? ¿Tienes prisa? And they say yes or no, and if they're running, then probably they're going to say, sí, yo tengo prisa. So I need you to be able to take these expressions and then use them in context, okay? Let's look at the monkey. What does it look like his expression is telling you? He's scared. Tener miedo means to be scared. And that a or de can come after tener miedo. Are you scared of? Are you scared to? So a, that little a means to in English. And I've said that to you before, okay? That shouldn't be so new. And the same with de, de, what's that mean? Of. So tener miedo a, to be scared to blank. To be scared to run, to be scared to fall down the steps. Okay, whatever it is. And then tener miedo de is to be scared of spiders, rabbits. Okay, so to be scared to or of. Okay, so down here, what's going on? Okay, this little couple, they're doing besos. And this girl, the expression is really focusing on this little girl right here. So she's kind of looking at them like, okay, her face is kind of pouting. She's jealous. So tener celos is to be jealous. And I can use that in a question. Okay, so say this little couple, they're done doing their little thing. And this little girl looks over at her BFF and says, ¿Tienes celos? Because she sees her face pouting. And then she can say, sí, tengo celos. Because I can use them in questions and responses. And then this guy, he says confidence here. So, tener confianza. Confianza is a cognado, is a cognate. What's a cognate? Okay, think. Back to first semester, we talked about cognates. Chocolate and chocolate are cognates. They're words that sound the same, they're spelt similarly, and they mean similar things, okay? So the similarities between confianza and confidence, okay, you can look at the letters, you can look at how they're sounding, and their meaning is the same. So that's a cognate. So to be confident, tener confianza. Now, confianza never changes to confianzo. Okay? It stays that way. I cannot break up the expression. I can only conjugate the verb tener. Okay, let's keep going. So what we just did up until this point was more physical things, okay? I feel sleepy. I feel pain. I feel jealous. I feel I'm in a rush. I'm feeling that I'm scared. I'm feeling that I'm hungry. But now we have psychological sensations, okay? So something that's going more in the mind than it is a physical